everybody. It's another week and another midweek message. I'm coming to you live, of course, from the bike shop because it's Wednesday. It's usually where I'm at. I was going to do something a little crazier this morning, but it didn't work out with the weather. So here we are, and I wanted to talk this morning. I'm actually positioned right where people tend to walk into the bike shop. And there is no control that I have over who walks into a place, right? You don't either. If you're in business, maybe someone knocks on your door, who your delivery person is, you don't have control over that. People blow in as they choose to. And it's interesting because I was looking at verse 8 in chapter 3 of John, and it says, the wind blows where it wishes, and you hear its sound, but you do not know where it comes from or where it goes. So it is with everyone who is born in the Spirit. So if you think about it, right, if you're born in the Spirit, and Jesus is talking to Nicodemus is trying to wrap his head around being born again. And what I find interesting is so many times we want to control the world. We want to control the world to do what we want it to do. And I think about this sometimes, but yet when we're following after the Holy Spirit, we're letting God guide us. We're letting things happen in front of us. And I think when people blow into my life, I wonder, is God putting them there? Are they following the Spirit, not following the Spirit? I mean, it can always get to this really deep thought about who's in our life and not based on, did God ask them to be there? Did God want them to be there? Is there a moment in time? One of my good friends, Sam, he likes to say that everything is a God appointment. And when I think about that, right, like people in my life, like it's important. It's important to think about that. Also, I wonder sometimes when we think about the Holy Spirit in our own lives and as it blows in and blows out, do we notice the effects of the Holy Spirit? Do we understand that as people come into our lives, do we understand what the Lord is doing around that? For instance, this morning, we were working on some bikes for the Partnership TMA, which is a rideshare program in Montgomery County. And the director of the TMA is an old friend of mine that I knew from another nonprofit that I volunteered with called the Upper Perk Community Thrift Shop. Now it's interesting, right? Because these two spaces that I've been volunteering and working in, they collided. There's things that happen. There's relationships that form. And Jackie is now at the Partnership TMA, which is all about bicycles and ride sharing and better transit access. Well, that's what we're about too, right? And here it is that this person that's been a part of my life over here in this setting is now a part of it over here. And again, it's not by my choice, but it's happened. So when we see these in here in the scriptures, and we see this concept about the Holy Spirit blowing, I wonder if we're able to really acknowledge the spaces in our life where the Holy Spirit's blowing. Are we able to acknowledge and think about what's happening around us? So when I think about this concept of a friendship with Jackie in one nonprofit to the next, we have history with each other. We know how each other operates, and a lot of neat things can happen because we're able to work and partner, and greater things are able to happen through that partnership. But we would never have known each other if it wasn't for the blowing in, the blowing out, and the movements of life around us. See, free will is a very interesting thing because free will, we're allowed to make our choices, but yet the Holy Spirit blows irregardless of what we do. The Holy Wind is going to move irregardless of what we do. And I think that's the important piece. So I want to ask you today, can you take a moment and start to reflect on where you see the Holy Spirit moving? Where are the spots in your life that you're not in control of, but you can be speaking into that space? Another thought on all this is the eternal impact. A friend of mine and I were talking just about what it means to pray with eternal impact. Pray for the eternity of things. And again, it's a deep thought. Like, I don't want to think that maybe the bicycle that I'm working on today could lead someone else to Christ tomorrow or not. Like, their whole life could be impacted. Again, when we do the little things, there are ripples that happen after that. And I know I'm firing a lot of thoughts at you, but again, as the Spirit blows, can you feel what God's doing around you? Are you listening for it? Are you taking note of it? And the small little item that you do today could mean so much in the future. So I throw all this at you because I want you to think about it, process it, comment on it down below. Send me an email at sroth@llnc.org. And hey, this week, take a moment to just rest. Take a ride, enjoy yourself, do something fun, but listen for where the Spirit's blowing and look at what God's doing in your life.